So my name is Gabby and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I have plans to thru-hike the Appalachian Trail in 2022. I just went on a short walk around Montana, and while I was hiking, I was thinking, what are my biggest fears for hiking the Appalachian Trail? One of the first questions that I get when I tell people that I'm hiking the Appalachian Trail is, aren't you afraid to do it alone? Well, the answer is yes and no. While I know that the Appalachian Trail is a really safe place, I also know that accidents do happen. So one of my biggest fears when it comes to thru-hiking the Appalachian Trail is Norovirus. For those of you who don't know, Norovirus is a stomach bug that spreads when people are in close proximity to each other, they're not practicing good hygiene, and you also can get it from water sources. All of those things I just described are the exact conditions on the Appalachian Trail. Norovirus causes intense vomiting, stomach cramps, and diarrhea for the course of about 1 to 3 days. There's nothing in the world that I hate more than throwing up and being sick, and I don't want to spend nights in my tent with Norovirus. There's pretty much a Norovirus outbreak on the Appalachian Trail every single year, and if it happens while I'm on trail, I'm going to take extra precautions to do my best to avoid getting it. While on trail, I plan on filtering my water with a Sawyer Squeeze water filter. While the Sawyer Squeeze gets rid of most bacteria and microorganisms, it does not filter out viruses. I plan on carrying water purification tablets with me on the trail, and if the virus gets out of hand, then I may start treating my water with those tablets in addition to filtering it. I also plan on avoiding sleeping in shelters during the beginning of my trip. I actually do enjoy sleeping in the Appalachian Trail shelters because you don't have to set up your tent, you don't have to break it down in the morning, and it's really convenient when it rains. But if there's an outbreak of Norovirus, I know that the shelters are going to be one of the most common places to get it. So for the first couple months on my thru-hike, unless the weather is just really bad or, possibly in the Smokies, I plan on setting up my tent and sleeping in my tent. Alright, so my second biggest fear when hiking the Appalachian Trail is going to be ticks. I don't like bugs, I don't like things crawling on me, and the last thing I want is for a tick to bite me during my hike, but I know that it can be inevitable. There are ticks in pretty much every state on the Appalachian Trail, so you're bound to see at least a few ticks throughout your thru-hike. While you can't fully get rid of ticks, there are some measures that you can take to help prevent them while on the trail. One of the biggest ones is treating your clothes. I don't know too much about treating my clothes yet, but that's something that I plan to learn about before my thru-hike. Ticks carry Lyme disease, which give you flu-like symptoms and in some cases can even be deadly. The last thing that I want is to get Lyme disease during my hike. My third biggest fear for thru-hiking the Appalachian Trail is the cold rain. I don't mind dealing with cold weather, and I also don't mind dealing with rainy days. But when you put cold weather and rain together, it can be really uncomfortable and even dangerous. To prevent myself from getting too cold, I plan on bringing a puffy jacket, this fleece jacket, and then also a base layer. I also plan on bringing a pair of clothes just to sleep in so that I have something warm and dry to change into every single night. My fourth fear for thru-hiking the Appalachian Trail is getting injured. Back in October, I got a 3rd-degree ankle sprain, and it's taking months for that to heal. I know that if I would have sprained my ankle like that while on trail, it would have been impossible to keep going at least for a few weeks. When I first sprained my ankle, it took me several days just to be able to put any weight on it. I'm worried about re-spraining my ankle while on trail because it's still really weak and I know that it would be easy to sprain again. While injuries do scare me, I am willing to push through them to a certain extent to complete my hike. Lastly, my biggest fear while on trail is simply just taking care of my body. I know this may sound silly to most people, but I worry about getting enough water, getting enough rest, and eating enough healthy food while on trail. I have a hard time drinking enough water in my daily life, and I'm constantly reminding myself to drink more. When I get distracted, tired, hungry, or I just don't feel well, sometimes I forget to drink water. Here that on trail, especially when it's cold outside, I will forget to drink as much water as I need to. When I don't drink enough water, I tend to get headaches, I lose my appetite, and sometimes I even get nauseous. So drinking water will definitely be a huge priority for me while on trail. Another thing that I am worried about is sleep. I am an extremely light sleeper, and whenever I sleep outside, I hear every single noise that's in the woods. Even if it's just a squirrel or a leaf falling, I always think that a bear is about to eat me. I'm hoping that after a few days of sleeping outside, I will adjust and get plenty of sleep at night. I also worry about eating enough calories while on my thru-hike. Every time I go backpacking, it takes me at least a couple of days to have an appetite. It's really strange because I won't feel hungry throughout the day, but then as soon as I lay down in my tent at night, I get super hungry. At that point, of course, my bear bag is hung, so there's nothing I really can do to eat. I know that it's normal not to have a huge appetite in the first few weeks of a thru-hike. I'm sure that after I spend a couple weeks on trail, my appetite will come back and I'll be super hungry. Alright guys, so that is it for this YouTube video. Thank you all for watching. You guys have all been so supportive and so encouraging. Let me know down below what your fears are when thru-hiking the Appalachian Trail.